Thanks for joining us today for this video on our FastStart solution for Jira Service Management. JSM is advancing in leaps and bounds, and Atlassian is doing a great job releasing new features regularly that help teams better manage incidents, changes, and requests to deliver great service to their customers. Now, many of you will be already using or have tried JSM for your service delivery, and you'll have found that it's quite easy to get started. And in fact, it's this ease that often creates issues for teams because they find that they've not configured JSM in a way that's scalable or best practice. And in time, these teams struggle with their service desk solution. So we've taken the opportunity to pre-configure a JSM service desk solution that leverages our many years of enterprise service management experience to create a minimum viable product that can be used by any team wanting to implement a JSM service desk. It's a great way to get moving quickly with a best practice solution which you can then build on. Now in this video, I'll be showing you our FastStart solution and how it's different to the out-of-box templates and why it can be a great choice for you. So let's get to it.
So as a client, whether I'm an external client or internal, I've come to the service desk portal, the customer-facing portal. I've got a range of different requests that I can choose, and they're all in plain English. I can determine, in this case, I want to report an issue, and I'll just say that there is a CRM issue. And what you've noticed there is the automatic suggestion of some knowledge articles from the connected knowledge base in Confluence, which just pops me through to a knowledge article. This is just an empty template just to show you the functionality. So that's pretty nice. I'll have a description, and from there I can simply log the request, log the incident. I've got information there that shows me what's happening. Don't worry, that's just a connection out to another service. So I've got the ticket that's been created. Now my agents in the portal will be using this version of Jira. So it's an ITIL skin over a Jira Service Management project. So you'll notice the terminology of service request, incident, problem, change. So we're taking the whole service desk team, and in fact the IT team working on this project, into an ITIL vernacular. And as an incident responder, I can see that here's the issue that's been logged. Now this has come in and it's automatically been assigned to a level 1 team, which is typically the case. I may have a look at this. I may determine that this is one of our customers from Acme, and I'll make sure to register that. I may well have SLAs, in this case, our default generic SLAs, but you may well have the requirement to say we have different SLAs for different customers, different customer organizations. So all of that is possible. So now as an agent, I'm looking at this, starting to examine it and triage it. I may determine that there's obviously an affected service. It's our CRM service that happens to be affected. So I can add that to the ticket. Now, one of the interesting things here is that automatically Jira will say, well, guess what? The affected service, the underlying infrastructure for the CRM service is actually the subject of a change request that's been done in the past. So now as an agent, I may say, well, this may indicate that the change was problematic and has created now some incidents. So that's a really important, useful piece. Now, other ITIL practices, as an agent, I can modify the impact and the urgency. I can modify the priority. Our project here is an automated priority matrix, so that if incident and urgency is set, it will automatically update priority. So they're kind of the key things. Other things down here, if affected hardware, relate to CMDB. The important thing is to categorize tickets. So here you'll find a two-tier categorization for product and operational categorization. So that's, if you like, the technical categorization, typically linking to what is the type of infrastructure that's being impacted, and the operational categorization is more about the doing of the request. Is it a break fixed? Is it a adds moves change, etc.? So plenty of important elements to properly categorize. So as an agent in the team, for you to be able to report and have visibility on what's happening, you want to be able to instruct agents to say, your work practice is to categorize, add services, triage these elements effectively. And if we need to, we can escalate to different teams. And there's a workflow here that we ask that we have the ticket move through. So various statuses based on how we operate as a team. So that will take care of our incident as it moves through. We may choose to create linked issues. So for example, as an agent, I might determine that we're seeing a lot of this CRM issue and there's probably an underlying problem. So I can go and create, for example, a linked issue and create that such that it's then there for the problem manager to pick this up in the problem process and review whether that's a problem that should be worked on. So, as an agent, as an incident responder team, we've got some particular queues, incidents that are escalated, incidents that are open, ongoing major incidents. So a range of those queues that are relevant to process. We have some general queues that are useful as well. So show me all the open unassigned tickets. So obviously this queue needs to be as small as possible. We've got SLA warning and breach. So these are queues that team leaders want to be across to make sure that obviously you don't want to breach your SLAs. Team queues, level 1, 2, 3 teams. Teams will typically sit in their queues and have a look at, if I'm the team leader, I want to make sure I'm picking up tickets that are assigned to our team that are currently unassigned and make sure they get assigned and nothing falls through the cracks. So a range of queues there to support how you work. We saw services as we were applying them to the tickets, so they're all there. The other element that's useful for you to see is the reporting. So at a project level, there's these standard reports that have been triaged to address all of the elements in the configuration. So you'll find those are useful. The other element that we have in our pre-configured FastStart project is a specific dashboard. So the dashboard here is more expansive than that report page we were looking at. I can have a look at my change calendar. I'll see all of the kind of pertinent elements, SLAs that are in warning and breach, load by team, how many tickets in level 1 and level 2, see how busy people are, focus counts, things that will just help. Typically the service desk team leader will be watching this and making sure that he's got his hands around what's happening. Okay, one of the things that I'll do now quickly is just go through and show some of the specific elements that we've configured within FastStart that really go to the heart of its strong value and really separates, what you get out of the box or what you can do, what most people do within their own configurations, and the value that we'll provide through this pre-configuration. Now, the first part of it is the definition of support teams. So we've pre-configured 3 teams, and we update the names of these teams for our clients. And that's a really important piece so that tickets can be not only assigned to an individual, but allocated to a team. And, I think you saw earlier that we have queues that relate to particular teams. And so being able to reassign or escalate tickets through to separate teams is really important. So that's the first element to show. The second element I mentioned quickly earlier was the use of an automation for a priority matrix. So you'll see here on this incident, as an agent, I can change impact and urgency, but I can't actually click into the priority and modify that. That's because the automation will update that. So based on the setting of impact and urgency, we have automation configured that will set the priority. And that automation can be enabled or disabled. Many customers choose to leave the priority matrix enabled, the automation enabled. So that's a useful element there as well. The other part to show you is the particular workflow that we've configured within FastStart. So each of these elements, each of these workflows, we've configured specifically as an MVP implementation. And you'll see there's various elements. We've got our change process here, our incident management process. So each of these processes has got best practice baked into the configuration of the workflow. And then you'll see many examples within the specific workflow where we're using advanced configurations of conditions, triggers, and post functions to give a better experience for agents. Now, part of that advanced configuration of the workflow is the way that we show these statuses for agents to move their tickets. So the default behavior is in fact a random behavior. So we can have a look here. If I'm an agent, I can choose to move it to pending, to cancel, to resolve. And that really doesn't have a logical flow to it. And what I can show you in this example is a presentation in a more logical structure so that agents can work through their workflow quickly. So, in most cases, cancel will be the last thing that you'll be involved in. You'll be moving through in progress, perhaps escalated, moving to resolved. And the default representation, I'm seeing here, I can see pending, then I've got cancelled, then I've got resolved. If I had more statuses, they'd be kind of presented in a real randomized structure here. So it just doesn't help agents work effectively. So we have cleaned all of this up to show just the options that are relevant to where the agent is in the workflow, and also to show these in an order that makes sense for quick and effective use. Now, one of the other additions that FastStart has is the use of, or the configuration of, parent-child incident relationships. So here we've got an example where an agent's created a link, and in this example, we've got a child ticket. So we may have typically a parent, this being the parent ticket, linked to a number of child tickets. And so that's a useful and an important part of incident management. And then also we have automations to automatically close out or automatically resolve children tickets once the parent ticket is resolved. So clients may or may not choose to enable that depending on how mature their incident management processes are. One of the elements with our workflow is some automation. So we have a number of automations that we've included in FastStart. And one of those is also in handling communications with clients. So we have some automation once the agent converses with the client, the ticket will automatically move out to pending customer. When the customer responds, that ticket will move to pending internal and sits there for the agent to review. So we try and minimize the ticket sitting in progress unless it's actively being worked on, and use that automation to better handle discussions with the client. We also have an escalated status, and so that helps us to allow the agent to have a particular hierarchical escalation process as opposed to the normal sort of functional escalation, which we would do through assigning tickets from one team to another. So that's an important element of some of the workflow that we've got here. Within the problem management workflow within FastStart, we've configured a status for known error. So as you know, a known error is a valid lifecycle state for a problem. So we use that to explicitly show that a problem has been defined as a known error. And then equally, we use some queues to show all of those problems that have known errors, and that makes it easy for an agent to have a look at what are all the known errors, and that will help them to triage any incidents that they're currently working on. And probably the last thing I'll close on, I showed you this dashboard earlier. So we add to this dashboard, and in fact all of the features of FastStart we tend to review, and we add features and automation and functionality. So it's always live and fresh and useful. But from a reporting point of view, we also now include an Excel connected spreadsheet. So this uses the Atlassian Excel connector for Jira, and that's a free app that you can use. And this is useful and appreciated by clients. So we have a connection into the project that will pull a whole range of data out, and then this is an example of a really simple pivot off that data. And the particular report that we include has a whole bunch of charts and useful displays. So just another nice part of augmenting the reporting capability that's delivered through FastStart. So that about wraps it up. Hope you've found it useful. Feel free to reach out to us if you'd like to know anything further about FastStart. Easy to just get us through our website, systemology.com.au, and just send us a quick message, and we'll get back to you very quickly, and happy to have a conversation with you. So thanks again, and stay tuned for our next video on JSM. Cheers.